Okay, now for the shameless plug. And this is about my new series called The Essence of the Blues. And it's modeled after the Jazz Conception series in that there's etudes there, and there are different versions for each instrument. Here you can see there are 6 versions currently for alto sax, tenor sax, trumpet, trombone, flute, and clarinet. And they're in unison. In other words, they're the same etude. So if you were in a classroom or you were playing with them, with a friend, you would be playing the same notes. And the play-alongs on these are just really awesome. I have to say that the rhythm section of Mike Ledon, Peter Washington, and Joe Farnsworth are just outstanding. Some of the greatest jazz musicians of all time, honestly. And on tenor saxophone, we have Eric Alexander, trumpet, Jeremy Pelt, Steve Davis, great trombone player, Ken Popowski on the clarinet, who's been on hundreds and hundreds of recordings and is playing the soundtrack on Woody Allen movies, and Jamie Baum, a wonderful flautist. And so in the book we have 10 etudes, as I mentioned, and they're modeled after or inspired by great jazz players. This one is called Minor Train, and it's in the style of John Coltrane. We have other ones. There's one for B.B. King that is very much a blues piece. There's no bebop in that one at all. In the Coltrane one, there's more of a modal style. We've got one called Blue Funk that we played earlier that is modeled after great trumpet player Blue Mitchell and a little bit of Miles Davis and Tom Harrell. And of course we have one by inspired by Charlie Parker. And it's got all the great bebop language, very much in the style of Charlie Parker. And then after that, well, with each etude, we have an analysis of each piece. So I'm talking about the musical effects that are, or tools that I'm using within the piece, and also the performance of the rhythm section and things to pay attention to when you're playing along with it and studying it. Then in the back, which is something that is kind of new that I've done, is I've got some blues theory. And it's basic blues theory, but I think it kind of gets to the point of the most important points about understanding the blues, that there's basically a beginning, middle, and end to the blues, and that it's pretty easy to learn how to play changes on the blues if you start to insert things like 2-5-1s and 5-1s and things like that. And then after that, we've got something called a vocabulary study. And what I've done is I've extracted about, I guess there are 36, 37 blues ideas from the pieces, and then transposed them all to B flat, which is super handy because if you're in a classroom and you've got these different instruments looking at the book, they're all looking at the licks in the same key, and even though the pieces are in different keys, they've all been transposed to one key. So it's really handy to study them that way. Then we have a bunch of 2-5 ideas, both 4 and 2 measure 2-5 ideas, and then we have some suggested listening of the greatest jazz players of all time, the pieces that have been inspired by. So there's Duke Ellington, Lou Donaldson, B.B. King, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Stanley Turrentine, Mel Jackson, Sonny Rollins, Blue Mitchell, and Charlie Parker. So I'm very proud of this book series. I hope you'll check it out and enjoy playing on the blues.